In today's video, we're going to take a look at Toronto townhome prices into June, year over year, month over month, and as always, a lot more. Let's get to it. Hello everyone, welcome to another video. This is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Realtron Realty Inc. As always, back with another video for you guys here today where we cover Toronto real estate news, market trends, buyer advice, seller advice, and everything in between. Feel free to find my contact info if you have any further questions or if you want to work with an agent. My contact info on the screen and in the description box with regards to my Gmail, my office, where you can find me on the social media platforms. Lastly, as always, feel free to just simply Google my name, find my Google reviews, and go through my Google reviews to see what others who have worked with me in the past, what their experiences have been. But enough of all that self-promotion. Let's get to the point of today's video. Now, if you've been watching this channel for a long time, you know that I am very, very bullish on townhomes, generally speaking. This is dating back all the way to 2019. I think townhomes oftentimes are much better options than semi-detached for end users. And in terms of investing purposes, I have in the past many times shown that townhomes have appreciated at a greater pace than not only condominiums, but semis as well. In the months where the market was much hotter, even closer to last months of 2021, the only property type that was outpacing townhomes was detached. Other than that, townhomes have historically been performing better within the last 5 years, if I want to be more exact, as compared to, for instance, once again, semis. But much like every single other property type, due to more macro, general Toronto and GTA real estate market conditions, we see, if we take a look at June numbers so far to the date of recording of this video, which is the 19th of June, townhomes, much like other property types, have dipped in the city of Toronto. And this is not just within the city of Toronto, this is all over, but I think overall townhomes in the city of Toronto stand a better chance of rebounding as opposed to, for instance, Oshawa and Durham. That is to say, even though I am overall bullish on townhomes, I think particularly townhomes within the city of Toronto have a better upside as opposed to, once again, townhomes in Durham or parts of Peel. And in terms of townhomes in Toronto versus York region, I think that would be a good topic for a future video because I think the answer there is a little bit more ambiguous. It's not as clear cut. Nonetheless, let's get into the numbers. So far into June of 2022, we see the average sold price of a townhome in the city of Toronto. And once again, these are townhomes that account for all townhome types with the sole exclusion of condominium townhomes. So these are all freehold townhome types. The average sold price has been $1,238,000 in the city of Toronto. The median is not far off whatsoever, coming in at $1,220,000. Now here the prices are down if we take a look at month over month. So comparing the first 19 days of June versus the first 19 days of May, the preceding month, where prices were at $1,273,000. And that's in terms of average. In terms of median once again was not far off at $1,257,000. And this should not be a surprise whatsoever for most people. Prices have been coming down, the market has been cooling, primarily, but not solely, but primarily due to the increase in interest rates against the larger backdrop of course, inflation. Year over year, though, the numbers are still higher because we just took a look at month over month. Year over year, and once again, only 19 days into June 2021, the average sold price was around $1,170,000. The median was at $1,023,000. Purely speaking, on the basis of an average year over year, prices are still up $68,000, $70,000 higher, once again, in terms of average. And this is why I don't believe we have experienced anything that can be called a crash up to this point. And you know, if you go into YouTube, you see a lot of Toronto real estate agents or real estate agents in Canada talk about crashes and talk about, is the market crashing? And you know, they have all these shocked faces, which I don't blame them, right? I know a lot of these people on YouTube who also talk about Toronto real estate, and 1 to 3 of them I can attest are wonderful agents, right? They're just simply playing the algorithm game for further exposure, and I can't blame them. Nonetheless, From those people to the commenters, to people in my circle, my colleagues, my clients, people I'm merely speaking to my family members, the word crash is being thrown around a lot. And case in point here, and this is just one exhibit, I'm not solely basing my opinion based on this exhibit. I have the nuance that I think the market has substantially corrected, is set to further correct, but I have a hard time calling anything a crash when all the year-over-year numbers are still higher. And that's not an exaggeration. Year-over-year numbers are higher for every single property type in every single area and for every single configuration. Detached in new market versus last year, semis in downtown versus last year, lofts in Trinity Bellwoods versus last year. So this is why I can't quite call what has been happening a crash. I can't predict the future. I can certainly say that the market has substantially corrected. To the point now where we're going to segue to the next topic, overall Canada-wide, so we're no longer just looking at Toronto, sales have been down 8.4% as of the most recent month of May. So this is no longer prices, don't confuse this with prices, but the number of transactions. Sales are down 8.4%. Sales just being down in of itself does not indicate a cooling market, because when you have a scarce resource that's getting scarcer by the month, scarcer by the day, such as housing in Toronto, for instance, the greater Toronto area, where supply is low and supply gets lower, well, sales will naturally drop as well. So that in of itself does not indicate any cooling market. Now, sales being down while listings being up, that indicates something to us. And what is that? Once again, as I've made mention in the past, one of the classic conditions that need to be in place for it to be considered a buyer's market: sales to listing ratio, meaning there are more listings available on the market relative to the number of listings that are actually selling. In other words, put once again, supply outweighing and exceeding demand in the market. And it's not by a small factor either. Listings have gone up. Once again, this is Canada-wide, so we're no longer talking about, as we did in the beginning of the video, just in Toronto, but Canada-wide listings are up 4.5%. So this is not really good news for sellers. For buyers, what is currently happening to the market is, I think, much better. Insofar as you can, important caveats, insofar as you can afford to buy and you have the liquidity and you're not over leveraging yourself. Because as prices come down, as conditions get more favorable towards the buyer, both based upon the supply and demand side of things and how you can get things conditional when you have a real estate agent negotiate a conditional deal for you, all these protections that were not in place in conjunction with the prices coming down to your favor, I think is honestly a really good time to buy, because even if your rate is going to be higher, you will have always purchased at a lower price point. So in the short run, you will be paying a higher rate, but that is temporary. That will change. Rates will not always remain this high, but the price you bought at, in this case, we talked about townhomes, for instance, so we'll use that as an example. If you bought on average less $60,000 to $80,000 than you would have bought 3 months ago, 2 months ago, that is not temporary. That will always remain the same. The discount is forever. The variable rate is exactly what it sounds like. It is variable. And if you can stomach the next year to 2 years, the rates will come down and your initial savings will be there forever. Anyways, I owe you guys actually a building review that's going to be coming up for 88 Scott. As always, I really like to sit down and do my research on those building reviews to give you the most up-to-date details and analysis of those buildings. So the research phase for those videos take a long time. I appreciate your patience on that front. As always, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Realty Inc. Thank you very much for watching this video. Feel free to get in touch with me with any questions you may have. Stay tuned and stay safe. Thank you.